Can a bad idea, perfectly executed, beat a good idea ruined by woke idiots? Tonight we find out. The book in question, Space Fleet Academy, Year 1, by the evil John Del Rose, and the double evil Vox Day. It's sexist, it's racist, it's blatant moon Nazi propaganda! Then just read it as a horror novel, you soy-chucking goonlord. The story of how this book came about is one of the funnier things that's happened on the internet in some time. Now, as most of you know, John Del Rose runs the Phantom Pulse news site. He's also an old school Star Trek fan. And as a result of this, he's also been recently hardcore shitting on the Star Trek Starfleet Academy show, breaking out each episode and pointing out the woke nonsense and porn writing. Again, there's like 100 guys doing this right now. So anyway, because of this, John got into a lot of Twitter arguments with the modern audience types. And eventually, somebody said, if you don't like it, why don't you make your own? Perfectly logical. So, in reaction, John quickly made a fake Space Fleet Academy book cover as a meme, and then continued shitting on the Star Trek chills, because that's what he does. The internet gods found this amusing. Also among the amused were John's actual fans who saw the meme, did not get the joke, and began to bully John until he committed to actually writing the Space Academy book. Now, still a joke, but now it's a practical one. Could AI quickly write a science fiction novel? Surely anything would be better than a gay Klingon musical. Some quiet mutters, no real action. John already is busy writing other books and being a full-time shitposter. Now, nice idea, but still just a meme. But the fans just kept pressuring him, swearing they would buy the book. And then, out of the smoke, Vox Day appeared as if somebody had accidentally whispered his name. He brought with him some recent and very spicy research on biology and evolution. These books were thrown into the bubbling cauldron along with several unfinished video games and some fine Spanish ham. Thus, in a fever dream, the Biostellar universe was born. Space Fleet Academy, no longer a joke. It was now a chance to prove a point. People were wrong on the internet, and this could not stand. It was boldly declared that John and Vox would use AI tools to create the book from scratch in 1 week without sacrificing any quality or readability. In reality, it took them about 2 weeks to write the book and about a month to edit it. So, we did finally get the book, however, finished and published, while Starfleet Academy is still being streamed and still being discussed by grifters on YouTube, thus winning the internet argument. Cyborg writing works. Welcome to the future, bitch. The reaction so far has been pretty hilarious and has brought a tiny bit of joy to my blackened heart. So, what about the actual book? This is the point of a book review. Is it sexist, racist, Nazi propaganda? Because that is what I was promised. Well, yes and no. First of all, this is not Star Trek. This is Ender's Game. So much so that Orson Scott Card might secretly be getting a royalty check. Now, I liked Ender's Game, so I am okay with this development. Setting and the core premise of this series is based around some of the nastier principles of biology and genetics, with their implications taken to the logical extreme. This leads to some very spicy answers to some very difficult questions. The human genome is decaying, and the entire governmental system is ruthlessly designed around preventing further decay. The way that they do this is by ensuring that enough colonists die so natural selection occurs in at least part of the human race. This is the mandate. This is the price to be human, and it sucks to be you. The mandate is not a happy solution, but it is a solution to an existential threat to the entire human race. All of human society is structured around the mandate, and the Space Fleet stands ready to do what has to be done, whatever the cost. And in Biostellar, there's always a cost. Into all of this, we meet the young first-year cadet Constantine Ramsey, young, eager, talented, but he's already questioning the system due to his colonial background. Still, he's here to learn, to understand the system, to do his duty to humanity, whatever it costs him. He meets friends, he meets rivals, he struggles to stay near the head of his class. Eventually, the readers notice that this is not strictly a naval academy and start asking questions. Why are the athletic standards so high? Why is colony management such an important topic? And why are ground combat tactics such a focus? This is no mere military academy. This is the ruling class carefully and selectively training their handpicked successors. The looming question of what the cadets are being trained to do is never fully answered in this first book. About halfway through the book, bad things start happening, and many of the senior class are graduated early to deal with the emergency. This greatly increases the stress and tension on the younger students left behind. The final third of the book has Ramsey and 3 other cadets selected to compete in an elite event against the other academies. This results in what amounts to an Olympic-level esports match, so strangely watched throughout the galaxy. Opponents are older, stronger, smarter, and clearly cheating. Things get very real, very fast, and the final question comes down to moral courage. Then we get a Disney sports movie ending. I would say it's a happy ending, but in Biostellar, there are no happy endings, only happy chances to continue. All of this sets up Book 2 perfectly. The hero is still heroic, less naive, stronger for having overcome difficult challenges. The crisis continues, and the mystery of the setting looms darkly overhead. So, final thoughts. Even if you're not political, even if you're not into the culture war, this book is a solid 4. It's challenging big idea science fiction. This book will make you ask a lot of questions. It's not preachy. It presents the arguments and expects you to make up your own mind. Now, if you are into the culture war, the entire Biostellar project is a glorious fuck you dance right in the face of the leftist entertainment establishment, and you're going to want to get it into the ground floor. Does the book have flaws? Yes, the support characters are basic archetypes, and some of the dialogue feels like paint by numbers. This is a normal thing for John's writing. You read him for other purposes. But considering this book was pulled out of a make science fiction great again hat, like a Jedi mind trick, in order to prove a point in an internet argument, I think we can accept a few flaws. Is this book a classic? I'm not sure. A lot will depend on the second book. They are planned about 6 books right now. Year 1 is a solid start. This one is Moon Nazi approved.